The U.S. Supreme Court stopped a lower court's order requiring the Alabama GOP-controlled legislature to redraw maps that would favor black residents. The ruling means the upcoming elections will only contain one majority black district, which is shown here in blue, this despite more than a quarter of the state's population being black. The lower court ruled Alabama Republicans likely violated the Federal Voting Rights Act by not creating a second voting district. In the 5-4 ruling, some of the conservative-leaning justices argued the changes were too close to the upcoming election cycle. The justices will decide at a later date if the district map violates the voting rights law. Texas is one of 14 states that filed a brief supporting the Alabama GOP drawn maps. Last night on Fox 7 Austin News at 5, Mike Warren spoke with Glenn Smith, senior strategist at Progress Texas, and former Texas GOP chairman James Dickey.
Glenn, beginning with you, what do you make of the Supreme Court's decision?
Well, I'm disappointed, of course. I would like to think that everything that could be done to expand the freedom to vote and one vote, one person, and equal access to accept your lawmakers would be a principle the Supreme Court would follow in all cases. I would note real quickly that this issue of the proximity of an election has been used in many cases recently to deny challenges to various political occurrences like redistricting. They can appoint a Supreme Court judge within a few days of the election. They ought to be able to make changes to benefit voters in that same time frame.
James Dickey, did the justices make the right call?
They did make the right call. It's very important that they not mess with an election. This election is going to start, early voting was going to start next month. And can you imagine right now, candidates didn't even know where to file. They didn't know which district they lived in. It's a good thing to get this all settled so people can actually campaign and the voters can vote.
Glenn, when the court gets back to this question, talk about the claims of diluting the black voter in Atlanta. Is there a fair formula for the districts there?
Oh, certainly it's going to, whatever the formula is, it's going to be more than one for 25% of the population of a state, right? I mean, I just wish that the judges and everybody would begin in the same spot, kind of value-wise, right? That everybody's vote should matter. You should make it as easy as you can make it for them to vote. And you should let them choose who's going to represent them instead of letting the representative choose their voters, which is what happens with gerrymandering.
James Dickey, what about that? Is there a fair formula,
Yes.
Alabama being the example?
Well, so if Glenn were actually consistent on this, or if Democrats were consistent on this, then over a third of the city council seats in Austin would be Republican, because there are over 35% voters in Austin who are Republican, but only one of the 10 city council seats was drawn as Republican. So there's a whole lot of fun going on. We've got that in New York State. In New York State, over 20-something% of the voters voting Republican, and yet they have just redone their districts to take away significant number of seats from Republicans. What's interesting in this case, 24% of Alabama voters are black. There has been for decades one predominant majority minority black district in the state. The plaintiff's own experts said the only way you ever got to 2 of the 7 districts in Alabama being majority minority black is if the first thing you considered was race above everything else. You'd have to divide extra counties, you have to divide extra precincts, and racism like that is unconstitutional.
It is a continuing argument that will go on forever and ever, I got the feeling. We got to wrap it.
Racism like that was held to be unconstitutional. This would not happen there.